My name's Lee Jackson and this is Darren Venables. As from this year, the latter part of this year, we're going to be running the syndicate on Darren Tip Lake, and it's quite an honour for me to be given that position, because for me the Tip Lake is a very special lake, and which I first fished it in the late 70s through to 1984, and back then I thought it was the nicest lake I've ever fished, and to be honest with you, in the early days of fishing on the Darren complex, the Darren Tip Lake in 1970, in the guidebook it said Darren Tip Lake has produced carp to the lake surrounded by the tipping area, sorry, that's what the actual wording said, has produced carp to 24 pound, and believe you me, back in 1970 a 24 pounder was like catching a 40, maybe 50 pounder nowadays, and so back in the day I thought it was the nicest lake I've ever fished. It's about 4 acres in size. It's reduced in size to what it was in the early days, but for the better. I mean, because when I was fishing it all them years ago, the swim was like, especially in the winter time, it was walking about in mud and slop, you know. Whereas the guy who's run it for the last few years, Jerry, has made ever such a good job of this, and Jerry and people like Darren have made ever such a good job of the swims, and all nice swims without looking ugly. And there's a lot of it in the past. I mean, there's a lot of people, a lot of well-known names in the carp angling world that cut their teeth on the Darren complex, especially like the Darren Big Lake and this one, the Tip Lake. You know, famous names like Steve Briggs and Terry Dempsey and Tim Paisley and, you know, Peter Springate and people like that. It's where they started their proper carp fishing, you know. In other words, when they became successful. And well, the current day Tip Lake, it contains carp up to, there's probably around about 70 carp, topped by at the moment a common that is over 50 pound, and with backup 40s, around about 7 or 8 fish over 40, countless 30s and 20s, etc. So it's quite a productive lake, and it seems that everything that lives in this lake grows big, because now, as well as the carp, there's pike to over 20 pound, big tench, perch to over 4 pound, big roach, and you name it, it grows big when it goes in that lake, you know. And the good thing about it is the fish, you know, seemingly keep on growing, so it's a good one for the future, you know. And you know, with Paul Davis, the guy who owns the lake, he's all up for keeping this lake very special. And if you can hear a bit of a noise in the background, it's quite a historic day for British motorcycle racing, because just up the road is Brands Hatch, and today's the final round with the British Superbikes, and today's decided who's going to be the British champion. So there's some pretty nervous people riding around that track today, I would think, you know, hoping they don't fall off. And but Darren's run the lake. Darren's been the main bailiff, if you like, on this lake for the last few years. And so, you know, tell us something about what it's been like, Darren.
Yeah, I've been on here probably 8 years. About 3 or 4 years ago, I wasn't happy with the place. I mean, I knew Jerry anyway, so I said to him, I want to start looking after it, so I'll become the bailiff. So basically, I mean, it's just tidying the place up and getting it to look nice. I mean, it's took a while, but I mean, I think we're there now, you know, without having to cut everything down and making it like a hole in the ground. We leave it a little bit overgrown, because it's a beautiful lake, and it's got absolutely everything in here that you could want in fishing. I mean, I've always said to people who come here, if you can master this lake, you can fish anywhere, because you know, because of the weed, the bars, the holes, you know, plateaus, you name it, this lake has got it, you know. And it's absolutely beautiful. It's full of life, kingfishers, woodpeckers, everything, you know. It's yeah, it is one beautiful lake. I say, I mean, fish-wise, I mean, yeah, Lee's mentioned the big common. At this moment in time, I would say it's probably 52 pound. It has become a bit of my friend, so I've caught it a few times. I try to stay away from its areas now, so as not to catch it again, because I upset a few people. But it's a good backup 40s, and possibly this time of year 7, I reckon. We should have 740s in here. 25 over £30, and to say, as Lee said, back up to 20s. Very few doubles, not many really. And we've had a tench come out of here at £14.5, so that's a specimen in itself. Along with, Lee's already mentioned the perch, up to £4. So yeah, it's full of life.
Yeah, it's a very special lake, a very special place, and a beautiful place as well, as Darren's just said. Like the wildlife here, the trees are still big as it was in the 1970s, and it's just beautiful surroundings. Like that. But getting back to the syndicate, as I said earlier, it's going to be a 35-man syndicate. Unfortunately, it's already full. The places have already taken for the 2018 season. The season is going to run from January the 1st to December the 31st. And already we've got quite a big waiting list, forming, and so anyone interested, if they contact us via the website, then they can put their name. They're free to put their name on the waiting list and hope for the future. And all the complex itself is all your cars under lock and key. So it's all fairly safe. It's very rarely I've ever heard of any trouble on this complex over the years. And we at the moment the toilets we're upgrading the toilets, so they're going to be proper flushing toilets. So you've got somewhere to you haven't got to sort of creep around in the bushes, which is not good for the lake anyway. And there's going to be electric facilities. Not for charging mobile phones and things like that, but hopefully we're going to get a little place over there with a kettle and everything, so you can make yourself a cup of tea and sit down and have a little chill out, a little bit of a chat, like talk tactics, and the rules wise, we believe in running as does Paul Davis, running the fishery for the welfare of the fish, the welfare of the fishery, and the enjoyment of the anglers. So there's going to be they're all going to be sort of fairly common sense rules. However, anyone breaking those rules will be, sort of dealt with. To say the least. I mean, we've got to respect at the end of the day, the most important thing is the fishery and the fish. And one thing that is one of my major hates is litter. So if you drive through those gates or walk through those gates and you leave litter, that might be the last time you walk through those gates. And I know that's Darren's sentiments exactly. So we're approaching the end of the current season on Darren Tip Lake, and thank you for Jerry for all his hard work in the past, and it's onwards upwards. We can see this syndicate being one of the best and most successful syndicates in the country, and long may it live. The Tip Lake has gone through history, with its head held up high, and long may it continue, and we're going to try our utmost to make sure that you, the angler, enjoy your time on here, and at the same time we catch some of those gorgeous looking carp, big black dark mirrors and commons and things like that, and just in beautiful surroundings, and likewise we all respect the wildlife, the woodpeckers and the kingfishers and the other unusual birds they all sort of flock to this area, and may they continue to flock to this area. So that's all from me. I don't know if Darren's got anything to.
No, yeah, it's just pretty good.
Yeah. So it's so see some of you in the future.
Bye.